Handling phase. Handling. Looking at the Burton Antler in Camber, and it's pretty much mostly camber, as you can see from the profile. If you go up and down the board, from tip to tail, you can see there's just a little bit of like flat to rocker kind of early rise stuff going on, but for the most part it feels really camber. I think it just feels maybe just a shade, just a tiniest shade less than a camber board, but you know, I probably would have liked to have seen a little more early rise, but let's get to what the board does and not what it doesn't have. I gotta say, it pops really well. It's a little more playful than you would think for camber, mostly camber. I loved carving this out with a centered stance. I loved riding the switch. It wasn't perfect switch, but it was really good. And I guess that applies to that twin-ish flex. And I like the pop on this. I took this through the pipe and rode the pipe very poorly because of the poor conditions, and because I'm old and not a great rider anymore on the park pipes. But I liked the way it felt climbing wall to wall and driving wall to wall. Pardon me. There's part of the lung. Hey! So, we're just, you know, doing a review.
Is this you? Oh,
this is us. No, come on in. We're not that, you know, worried about finishing the video.
Our millions of readers don't really care.
Watch us review this.
okay.
So, anyways, I think it's a fun board. I feel it's still kind of like not a board I'd like to be out in a powder. I think the Flying V Antler would be much better for that. But all in all, nice edge-to-edge transitioning, nice pop and spring out of the turn, good switch rider.
That's what you said.
Bye-bye.
That's not true. She didn't say that. She made that up.
She's paraphrasing.
Yeah.
And
yeah, she's paraphrasing. That was like a 4-minute long speech that other girl made.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wish she'd just shut up, you know? Let the reviewers talk. God.
Our millions of readers are going to be annoyed at this review.
But anyways, it's I think it's a nice base, fast, fun, playful, kind of aggressive alt mountain freestyle ride. For those of you who still like that old camber feel but want just something a little different than camber.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people have been missing the camber and making some comebacks here and there.
You know, it's definitely on a huge resurgence. But you still want forgiving camber, which is what this board excels in. You know, it's like the classic camber aggressive freestyle feel, but just with a little bit more forgiveness. Allows you, I feel like, to progress a little bit more than traditional straight camber, you know, where you're hooking edges left and right. I
still felt like this had a little consequence if you didn't.
It still had consequence, but less.
Yeah, I wouldn't say, but I'd say
slightly
like
less.
Custom X Flying V, way more forgivable.
Well, yeah, I could flip that thing around. I could just do little spins around on that thing.
Try to catch an edge and not.
Yeah, you can't catch an edge, you know, really.
And this
one,
one
you can still catch an edge. I'm just talking about that marginal region where you like that super camber, but you want to be a little bit more forgiving in it. You know, so you have that slight early rise, slight little bit of, you know, what a lot of companies call is slight, you know, catch-free camber or whatnot, where they just kind of like early rise it just a little bit right here.
We call this mostly camber.
But it's mostly camber.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, good edge to edge. For me, the binding was set up a little bit too big. But a lot of pop, you know, that was something I noticed out of this board. Was
not
great
easy
pop.
to butter, huh?
Not easy to butter, but I mean, you just load up that back foot and it exploded.
Yeah.
It definitely exploded.
That's
with
what she
tons
said.
of pop.
Yeah.
There was some weird foot porn stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You just load it up and explode.
Tell me.
Off the back foot?
That's what she told me.
Yeah, I don't know where that was going.
I don't know. Our millions of readers are going to be
That
annoyed
she was
at it.
really fun edge to edge.
Edit.
I was following Peter down the
edit.
hill and trying to film him making short radius turns through variable terrain, and it just was like it was not
telling me
even
he's
an
gonna edit
issue.
stuff.
It was no big deal. making these really quick, short radius cross under turns, trying to follow Peter, who's flying down this hill. And it was like they weren't even. It wasn't an issue. Non-issue. Meaning that the board was really awesome there. Don't you think?
So,
Yeah.
you know, Antler Flying V, not Flying V, Antler Camber.